All right, a fun one. We're going to create our own website and have it hosted for anyone in the world to take a look at. So how do we do that? Well, we need some sort of computer to use that's always on 24/7. How about an EC2 instance? EC2 in the search bar, and you click on it. We've just launched one of these in the previous tutorial, so let's just launch one again and get that muscle memory going. We're actually going to call it a website, my website. That's my name of the instance. Let's use Amazon Linux once again, and then scroll down. Make sure you're in the free tier if you're eligible. Definitely do something micro. Key pair login. We can go ahead and create a new one, and we'll create this one as my site. Eventually, I'll get a Windows version of this once I spin up a virtual machine, but for now, you might have to Google how to do it. But for a MacBook, this is how you do it. Create the pair, my site. Good to go. Remember, the secret and the public key are shared between the instance and your local computer. So you need them both to run it. Now, what we did previously was created a security group automatically, basically, because this is already set up. Allow SSH traffic, and we're just going to go ahead and start this way. And of course, we want only our IP address. So we want to SSH in, but we'll see that we might run into some issues later. So launch this instance, no problem, let it go. And once it's launched, we should see our instances running. See, my website running, and we have a public IP address right here. Remember, we'll have to copy that eventually. So let's see if we can SSH into this bad boy. SSH-I, and then the location. Oh, no. Let's change the permissions on that .pem file first. So change the permissions to 400 for wherever you stored it, which maybe the downloads folder, my site.pem. Okay, that's what you need to do first, or you'll get an error. Next, let's do SSH-I, the location of that PEM file again, /downloads, my site. Okay, and then the username, which is EC2 user at, and of course, it's your IP address that you copied from over here. Public IPv4 versus IPv6, which is more like the Internet of Things. So we'll get into that at a later time. Hit the enter button. Are you sure you want to continue? Yes. Now you've done all this before. But this time we're going to do something even more practical or realistic or cool, I suppose. LS, there's nothing in here. Let's see what we can do is we can install an HTTP server that serves websites. So we're going to do that by doing sudo, which is basically saying, hey, root access. I want this root access. So get used to sudo if you've never heard that term before. Sudo yum. Don't worry about what that even stands for. It's some sort of package manager for this version of Linux. You'll use this quite a bit if you're in there in depth. Yum, and then -y, which means yes to all of your questions, and HTTPD. So this is going to install, it is sudo yum install -y, HTTPD, then you hit the enter button, and it'll take maybe 25-30 seconds to go ahead and install this on this machine that's far away somewhere in the cloud. It's not your machine. You're not installing anything on your machine right now. This will not exist there, which is pretty cool. Again, that's the cool stuff. Okay, it's doing its thing. You look like a programmer now. Congratulations. And then, all right, now that we've installed the HTTPD, we're going to start it up. So sudo system control, systmctl, start up the thing we just downloaded, HTTPD. So system control, hey, system control, I want you to send this start command to HTTPD. Oh, I forgot the E. Whew, losing it. Okay, now it started. You can't see anything, but it didn't give you an error, so that's always a plus. Although if you want to check it out, you can do sudo system control status of HTTPD. It's going to give you a bunch of stuff here saying, hey, it's running, it's good to go, and a few other bits of information. If you get stuck in this little mode, you can do Control C, the actual control button, and then it'll bring you out. But it's still running, so everything's good. Now, from this point, what we installed was a HTTP server. So anything in a certain directory, which doesn't even exist yet, will be hosted as if it's an actual website. And in fact, this is how websites are hosted. So there's nothing on our website though. So what we have to do is create one. To do that, we're just going to echo. I know this might be a lot. To do that, we're going to do an echo, which is basically spit out somewhere some HTML. HTML body. Oh, no quotes. I don't think, anyways. Hello world. I'm Mark Gingras, and I am cool. Close it out. Body. This should be good enough. And then end quote. Now, the syntax is very specific, so be careful here. Then we're going to pipe that in to another sudo command called T, and this is where we're going to store what we just typed out. We're going to store that into a folder called var, and then a folder called www, and then a folder called html, and then a folder called index.html. So what that HTTPD is looking for is any changes to this folder, the HTML folder. It's going to be looking for it. As soon as I hit enter, it's going to find it and it's going to start hosting this website. Hit enter. Syntax error. Let's see where I messed up. I put a quote here. Okay, try it again. And we're good. All right, so it looks like there's nothing there still, but don't forget we have this browser. Now I want to show you how this is not going to work first. So this gives you an education on security. Go to another tab and just type in your IP address for the EC2 instance, and you're going to see all it does is bounce. It's not doing anything. X, nothing is going on. It's because by default, security disallows everything. You have to explicitly allow traffic from the internet. I'm a random person now on this web browser. I'm not in this SSH environment. I'm in a web browser, so I have no access. So to get access, we have to open up what they call port 80. So let's go ahead and do that. See if we can find it. So we got our website. We can click on it, or the attributes are already down here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to security. And then you will see security groups. Launch Wizard 5. That's what we're looking for, inbound and outbound traffic rules. So Launch Wizard 5 is on both. That was automatically created when you created the instance. Amazon did that for us. Thankfully, we have the SSH ability already tapped into that. So what we want to do is we want to edit this rule. Let's go ahead and click on Launch Wizard 5 and let's make some changes to it. So here we go. We're in the security groups, and you can follow the breadcrumb trail up here to know where you're at. Now we're in it, but we want to get really in it. So let's double click on this ID. Well, not double click, but click again and look at these rules. We have inbound rules, outbound rules, sharing, all kinds of stuff I have no idea about. So inbound rules, we have this TCP rule. Let's add another rule. So edit the inbound rules. And what we want to do is add a rule that is now HTTP. So just look for HTTP here, if I can find it. HTTP, and then it automatically puts in the TCP and the 80 and the custom. We want to allow everything. So anywhere IPv, anywhere, not just the 0.00. Well, no, that is what it means, anywhere. Not just our IP is what I meant to say. So the SSH above, you see, this is our IP only. So nobody else in the world with a different IP can log in, even if they had Even if they had the security key and the public access key, they still can't get in because they don't have the right IP. Maybe they can spoof it though. Anyways, save the rules. We've got it saved. And just by saving the rules, you can go back over here and refresh this. And now look what you see. I know it's small. Hello world, I'm Mark Gingras and I am cool. That you can go to that website. Anybody can go to that website and it is there forever because that cloud compute is there 24/7 until you shut it off. So, security groups. You have to know about inbound rules and outbound rules. We created an inbound rule just now. Let's go back to our security groups. You see all of these different security groups I have. EC2 instances, going back to our instance. We'll go back to our website here. Just check that box to get the attributes again. And you see lots and lots of attributes. All of them are programmatically available to update and change. Clicking on security, so many options, but you want to focus on the inbound rules for the security group. Don't forget this EC2 instance had to have a security group that allowed this type of traffic. So just remember that for the test too. The EC2 instance needs a security group. The security group did two things for us. It allowed traffic on port 80 from a port 22 from a very specific source, super secure. It needs a public and private key. And then it allowed any traffic on port 80. This is inbound. So now anybody in the world is allowed to go to that website. That's what we did. That's pretty cool. And that's up and running until you decide to shut it off. Again, this will probably cost pennies, if that, but it's just best practice if you're not really going to use it to at least stop the instance. So let's go ahead and stop the instance now. Or if you really want to, you can terminate the instance, but then you'll have to redo it when we run a few other hands-on courses. So I'll go ahead and stop the instance for now. And it's okay. Stopping your instance allows you to reduce cost. So it costs something, but it's literally like a couple of pennies, I think, maybe a penny a day, something like that. So I'm just going to go ahead and stop it. Remember that you have it. If you don't happen to use this for a while or just decided you never want to use it and you're still paying for it, we kind of consider that what they call an orphan resource. It's an orphan resource you're paying for, but nothing that you're using, no applications using it. It's just sitting there costing money. So that's a whole nother ball game to find all the orphan resources. When you have thousands of resources, there are going to be some orphan resources. You programmatically change things and forgot to delete the resource in AWS. So that'll be a common theme across all of your careers.